I want to draw your attention to what brought us together.
Long background. I'm sorry.
Well, no, the background's interesting because the background shows that you're fighting for justice.
So I care. Out of this, I help people in my community, and I met Mustafa. I met
okay, so
the Aljazairi family, and anytime I have that isn't spent with my children at work, I spend trying to help myself or help other people get justice and fight what I think is just not justice. It's
if I may, I'm going to let people know about the Mustafa case, and I just am going to give a very brief summary. Now, I want to be very clear. I am representing Mustafa Aljazairi in a civil lawsuit that we have brought in the Eastern District of Virginia. I am also under a protective order. I am not his criminal defense counsel, and it is very important to me that I do not violate the protective order. The protective order doesn't forbid me from talking about Mustafa's case. What it does forbid me from talking about in any manner, shape, or form is discovery that the government has given to Mustafa and to Mustafa's criminal lawyer, Blake Weiner. And the discovery consists of a lot of documents and a lot of videos. So anything that I'm going to be discussing with you or at any time that relates to Mustafa is going to be information that we've gotten from the public records or that is publicly available in cases that have been filed against my client. So just real briefly, my client was involved in a motor vehicle accident on April 5th, 2023. He was driving a vehicle and we alleged that his brakes were sticky and one of the calipers were broken. He was involved in a tragic accident. He was driving, and next to him was his girlfriend, and in the back seat was the girlfriend's daughter. And my client was very seriously injured. He was actually helicoptered to a hospital. He was questioned by police while he was in the hospital, and we're alleging that he was not read his Miranda rights, that he was questioned in such a manner as to create a false appearance of guilt. And we're also alleging that the police violated my client's Brady rules. Brady rules are that if the police has exculpatory evidence, they need to release it to us. The police actually released a very small clip from a dash cam video that that was taken by my client. And they released a 5-second portion that is incredibly prejudicial and inaccurate, unfair in every respect. And all of this is contained in the case files. If anyone wants to look up any of the case files that are public, this is Virginia in the Circuit Court for Prince William County, and the case numbers are CR, which stands for criminal, 23, which stands for the year, 2165, 2167, and 2171. And for the record, again, my name is Elaine Jarvis. My Virginia State Bar number is 41623. So what happened next is my client was taken to the Prince William Adult Detention Center. And as we've alleged in our lawsuit that we filed in the Eastern District of Virginia, we've alleged that he was put in solitary confinement for more than 500 days. Lights were left on, but more importantly, we allege on May 24th, 2023, he was beaten to the point of unconsciousness, carried out of his prison cell. We allege that he was then sexually assaulted and beaten more downstairs. We've also alleged that my client was beaten on April 17th, 2024 and April 19th, 2024. And we further allege that the superintendent of the prison, Superintendent Peter Miletus, spoke to my client's family and told them that conditions would not improve for Mustafa until he stopped making grievances. And we also have alleged that the reason that the prison, so after my client was allegedly beaten, he was deprived of medical treatment. And we allege that the reason that he was deprived of medical treatment was because they wanted to cover up the fact that they were beating him. We also have a number of other complainants that have come to us and discussed either witnessing this abuse or experiencing this abuse. We've gathered evidence of 7 other inmates that have died in custody at the Prince William Adult Detention Center in the past 7 years, and so it goes. So, with all of that on the record, could you please tell me how you came into contact with Mustafa's family?
So, with my social media, people often tag me in things that they think that would interest me, or something maybe I could help with, or something, a story similar to mine. And
Sure.
I believe that I was tagged in.
Are you talking to the brother of Mustafa? His name is Omar.
Omar, yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, so Omar was he protesting outside the prison?
He was, and I loved it. I thought that was amazing.
I've seen those videos as well, and they make my heart happy because the family is a good family.
Absolutely.
We're talking about a family that the father escaped from Iraq to Syria, then came to the United States. My client was actually born in the United States. He's a U.S. citizen. 3 of the kids went to medical school, I believe. 6 kids total. Just a beautiful family that's together.
One thing that really kind of caught my eye also was they weren't out there protesting. You know, he'll have his day in court. They're not saying he's innocent or guilty, although of course they adamantly believe that he's innocent. I do as well. But they were saying this treatment that my brother's getting in there is a
torture,
violation of his rights.
Yes,
his constitutional rights. He's not gay. Please, all I want is medical treatment. I want you, please let him see a medic. Let him go to the hospital. I mean, the most simplest thing.
It's a simple thing, and it is something that is
Very
guaranteed.
telling when that's something that they won't do.
True.
You would think if they wanted to let everybody know that this is not true.
Sure. So you got tagged on some of the videos that the Aljazairi family.
That's the best of my recollection.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so did you start doing some investigating?
I did. I get a lot of people that come to me, and sometimes I will say, you know, it's horrible your situation, but I don't think that anybody really did you wrong here.
Sure.
But I did. I looked into it. I looked at the news articles. I saw that body. I mean, the dash cam.
Yeah, you saw the dash
And
cam.
the first thing that I'm saying is, it doesn't look like they're arguing.
No, and that's funny because that's the same thing that.
And I think they really played on people's heartstrings because of the obviously sensitive.
It's very sensitive,
Topic
and what they released to the media is from, and these are the cops. These are the people that aren't supposed to be releasing prejudicial stuff to folks. And they released the image of, so in the passenger seat, you've got Dorothy, who is the girlfriend, and she does what any of us would do if we're about to get hit by another vehicle. Like, she just looks up in horror, like, and she says something.
She even grabbed him.
Yes, she held his hand.
It's a loving thing. That's not something you.
She reached out to hold his hand.
So first thing I was like, these people don't look like they're arguing. That's all that I could think. I was like, what are they talking about, and why is everybody buying this up?
Right.
They don't look like they're arguing to me.
No.
I don't. Where's the audio? That was my second question.
Well, and that's the humorous thing here, because the police released part of the video without the audio, and I can't say too much more about that because it kind of pushes into my protective order territory. But go on.
I know that my dash cam has it, so that was my next question.
Gotcha.
And
well, actually, I can say something about this because contained in one of the motions that was filed in this case is a motion to dismiss because the criminal defense team for my client is alleging that the police knew there was audio and or destroyed it, or they were so grossly negligent with it that it was lost. So one of the motions that's before the court that's going to be decided on October 31st is whether or not the case can even go on. In other words, the audio would show that we're arguing in this motion, or the criminal defense attorney is arguing that my client was not arguing with his girlfriend. So, but what they did is they said they were arguing, and then they created, in our opinion, this entire story about how my client was somehow abusive to the deceased. And I think that's where you came in to investigate.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want me to?
I would love to hear what.
I went. I'm much like you. I believe I like to see people in person.
Sure.
For me, I am a people reader. I do it very well, I feel. And I can't get a good feeling for who someone is over the phone or in text.
I understand that.
So while already in Northern Virginia, I stopped by to see.
You stopped by to see. So let's get geography.
In front of the jail where Mustafa's family was camped out in RVs.
Gotcha.
Before they created parking spaces and
there's a whole story of how the family's been
before
treated.
they finally found a way to kick them out of that parking lot.
Yes, and by the way, that's how I met the family. I was in Prince William Circuit Court for a couple of cases, and I heard Mustafa's mom crying, and I stopped and listened and talked to the family.
And Mark was just showing me, he's got a lot of videos with, his evidence on there. And he was showing me how much Mustafa loved the children of his girlfriend.
Okay. So Mustafa, just for the record, he was dating one of the deceased. Her name is Dorothy. And obviously my sympathy goes out to the family. She left behind 3 or 4 kids. I think it was 4 children. Empress, unfortunately, also died. She was only 5 years old. So Dorothy had been dating Mustafa for about 3 months, from about January or February until the accident occurred in April.
Mm-hmm.
And what the police were trying to allege, and are still trying to allege, is that Mustafa was somehow abusive to Dorothy and to her children, which is kind of an extraordinary allegation based on all the evidence that the family has.
Yes. And, I was just looking at different things on his TikTok page, and he was telling me or showed me video from when Mustafa was no longer in the hospital. He, of course, caring about these children, said, "No, I have to go to the kids. I have to go to the kids." He's
So
still
like,
in shock.
so
it
this
seems
is
like.
yeah. I've seen that video. It's like April 5th, 2023, and it's 1 a.m.
And there's a Glenn Ford who is a neighbor.
Okay, Glenn Ford is a neighbor. Is he also the ex of Dorothy?
Yes. So he explains to me that Glenn Ford is Dorothy's ex. They used to live together in that same apartment complex.
Oh gosh.
And
so we have another guy that could be involved in all of this.
And it was strange because when asked, does he know Dorothy, he says no at first.
Okay.
But then he just
he doesn't say, wait, of course I know Dorothy.
then he
Is there
immediately
something
runs
wrong?
to these kids and apparently has some sort of relationship with the kids. He's hugging one of the sons or something. And what is this guy telling he's all over the place with the lies. It's like, do you know her or do you not? And Mustafa doesn't even recognize him. He doesn't even appear to know who he is.
Well, in those videos that I saw, Mustafa is staggering around. He looks like he's completely out of it. He's still concussed and bleeding. I think he still has his hospital gown on.
Medicated. He appeared to me, in my opinion, to be in a state of shock.
Me too.
Still.
Oh, and you're a nurse, so
yeah.
I'd much rather trust your side of it than mine.
In my professional opinion,
yes.
From without being present physically, he had the signs that were indicative of shock, just from looking in the video.
Sure.
Anyways, and I'm like, who is this guy? So apparently, this gentleman is a part of this story creator to Mustafa being abusive.
Is there any reason why Mr. Ford would have been making these allegations up?
Well, I'm sure that he was somewhat jealous.
Okay.
I have more of an opinion after meeting with him.
Okay, so
At first, it just seemed like
Gotcha.
somebody I wanted more information from.
Gotcha. Okay, so you were a little sus.
I was extremely sus. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a strange situation to begin with, where you're living in the same apartment complex, and Mustafa has no idea who you are, it seems. And then you say you don't know him or her, but then you know that it was very sus.
Gotcha.
So I guess kind of arrogant, and I said, I bet you if I send this guy a message, I found him on Facebook. And I did. I said, you're cute, or something. I saw your picture. So you're handsome. It was some picture that he had of himself, and it was like 40, 30, or 4, whatever his birthday was, doesn't look bad. And it was him with like a shirt off. So I was like, okay, this guy is clearly wanting the attention on this picture, so I'm going to give it to him. But I did not want to be too aggressive, because if somebody I don't know messages me and then is very wanting to meet me, and I would just be like, that's weird. What's going on? Who are you? My little things would go up, my antennas. So I messaged him that, and then maybe a week later, I was like, hey, I see you're online or something. And I said, I'm really sorry about that. I was kind of intoxicated. I don't ever go out. It's not who I am. Because I didn't also want him to think that he was going to get any sort of physical anything from me.
Gotcha.
I wanted that to be clear.
Right.
When you start with you're cute to a stranger, it kind of sends, I was worried.
True that.
So I kept communication with him off and on. I worked night shift, and he always seemed to be up late. So when I was bored at work, I would go and have conversation with him. I wasn't trying to get information. It was conversation, honestly. It was all genuine, honest conversation between the two of us. I even video messaged with him a couple times, and he told me some things about himself and his problems with addiction.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it is. I feel for him, honestly. And he's actually got a great talent for art. He is a great drawer.
Cool.
But I still felt like something was missing here, and I had a goal, and I was going to stick to it. So I didn't want to. I didn't want to pick him up in my car, because I didn't want to be stuck with this individual. So I picked a very public place to meet him. After multiple times saying I'll be there next week, and then just kind of flaking for whatever reason. But this time I was like, all right, I got this. We're going to do it now.
Gotcha. And so when and where did you meet him?
When was that? I can't remember the exact date, but it was
fine.
At the MGM casino. I got him a lift there because he was open with me, and that he did not have money. He said he wanted to be able to take me out for a drink. I said, don't worry, I got you. I picked the MGM casino.
Where is the MGM casino?
It is National Harbor.
Okay, so that's like in Alexandria, Virginia, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I got him a lift there because I was really weary. I was going to go pick him up. I was just like, I don't want to be stuck with this guy in my car. I don't know him. Got to safety first.
Yes.
So I got him a lift there. And then when he arrived, I didn't try to talk about anything. We just spent 2 hours like gambling. I gave him some money to gamble. We won some money, lost some money. And then when we were going outside to smoke, I said, which I was very open about, it's all over my social media. You can miss it, about my I don't know if you want to call it activism with Chesterfield.
Sure.
So I used that as a gateway to say, yeah, man, somebody tagged me in this video. There's this family camping outside of the
Gotcha.
the jail, and I just bring it up to see
see his reaction.
And I said, who does that? I said, I get it, that's crazy. And he was like, actually, I know that family. I know of them.
Okay.
And he shared a lot with me, including he was bad-mouthing both the mother.
You mean Dorothy?
Dorothy.
Gotcha.
But then he would kind of go back and forth between bad-mouthing her and her daughter, her eldest daughter. Now, one that lived in the
was that Kelsey?
I can't remember what her name was, but he suggested that she also had some addiction issues. And I asked him, I don't care, I ask people straight up. I was like, so, were you doing drugs with her? And he said, oh, no.
Sure.
And I asked, did she do drugs, the mother? And he adamantly denied that, but he did say that she, and I don't want to speak ill of the dead, because that's not my goal.
That's not our goal.
Yeah, not at all. I'm probably the most understanding person there is, and I don't judge anybody but pedophiles. And, he shared some things about her and some how he felt about her ability to be a mother, but then he would switch it and say, you know, she needed me and she was living with me. It was kind of all over the place. But then he...
Okay, so just real quick. So you're outside the casino and you're talking to him. At this point, are you taping this?
Oh, I recorded everything from when we first met. So if you listen to the recording, you can listen to hours of us gambling and not talking about anything.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Okay, so coming to the punch. What did he tell you in this recording?
He told me that her daughter asked him to kill Mustafa.
Wow.
Can't you just kill him? I said, why would she? First of all, I can't think of anybody that I would ask to kill somebody.
No.
It makes me question his relationship with the daughter in some sort of way.
Yeah, in other words, how close were they?
Exactly, and so at this point, you know.
Can I ask you another question? So he tells you that. Did he suggest that he and Dorothy were having any kind of relationship that overlapped with?
I asked if they were having sexual relationship, and I was like, "Come on, you're lying." I said, "You don't have to ask that. I'm not judging you," because he would tell me how she would be in her bedroom, which could apparently see into his room, his apartment, and that she would text him, "Oh, I see you," or something like that.
Ew.
Yes, and he claimed, which I personally felt it was disingenuous, trying to make himself seem morally better, but he claimed that he would always be like, "Stop doing that, you know, he's going through your phone."
Gotcha. So he
every time I brought that up, acted like there was nothing like that, but he would admit that he would be fixing her car down the street and that they were messaging and frequently meeting.
Okay, so she was in a relationship with Mustafa, but she was also frequently hanging out with her ex-boyfriend, this poor guy?
Yes.
Okay.
And when he said the comment about the daughter asking him to, can you just kill him? It made me think about other things in our conversation. For example, where he said he had to put the daughter out because she was just there was too many problems surrounding her. It makes me wonder, was there an issue between the mother being concerned about his relationship with the daughter?
Okay.
Also, my brain likes to consider all options. And
sure.
Also, the daughter, somebody had, I think, tried to call CPS, and I can't remember if I heard this from him or if this came from somewhere else, on her and alleged that she was not doing what she should as a parent, but the kids were well fed. You know, none of the allegations that were made, I remember, were evident. I think the CPS case, and I can't remember if I heard this from him or somebody else, but it was unfounded. And he had mentioned somewhere in our conversation also that this daughter was kind of estranged and not allowed to be at the home.
The 15-year-old.
Yes.
Okay.
And that she blamed Mustafa. And it seemed to me that his influence greatly was kind of guiding that. I mean, children are even young teenagers are very easily pushed. I want to be careful not to.
Okay, so tell me what he told you that bears on Mustafa's case.
He said that he was abusive and he had told her to leave because he was going to end up killing her. I said, abusive how? Like, did you witness anything?
Okay.
No, I didn't witness anything.
Okay.
But she told me that he pissed in the bathtub while she was in it.
Ew.
I was just like, okay. Did you witness this? Like, is there any proof? Well, one time she had maybe a bruise. I can't remember where he said it was. But every time I said, well, do you have any evidence? Like, no.
Okay, so he made these abuse allegations against Mustafa, but had no evidence or anything like that.
Yes.
What else did he tell you?
He said that the people who took the children, in the end, didn't care about them and they were just a paycheck.
Oh.
he seemed to have a lot of grief over the situation.
Gotcha.
But then he also said that he didn't care about her in any sort of way, and I'm like, it's okay to love somebody, you know, it's normal. So I was just trying to get him to,
Yeah.
if he did, to be honest, you know.
Did he talk to you about the abuse story? Did he talk to you about, you know, coaching the kids or anything like that?
He did say that there was a neighbor that he was close with. I don't know how close, but after the incident occurred, I think this neighbor initially took the children, and he claimed that she did not like Mustafa, but I had heard otherwise, and that they were all friendly.
Okay.
And that he said that I would have to listen to the recording. For everything that I say, let's just say that the tape is the best evidence.
Gotcha.
Please refer to that if I'm mistaken.
That's completely
because
fair.
I've literally not listened to this since I recorded. I sent it to him, and that was pretty much it.
Have you come to any hypothesis or hypotheses?
I think that the police failed to investigate other potential avenues of what could have happened.
Such as?
Despite his claims that he did not have feelings for Dorothy, he struck me as very jealous.
Okay.
But in an arrogant way, trying to pretend like he wasn't, and it was all her.
So, have you come to a hypothesis?
Yeah, I think that it's possible, and what should have been also considered is the potential that he may have sabotaged the vehicle.
Okay.
And didn't think that Dorothy and her daughter were going to be in it.
Okay. So he may have sabotaged Mustafa's vehicle.
Yes.
With the hope of taking Mustafa out.
Yes, and he had even said he was very familiar with her van. He had even cleaned it out for her and things like that. They lived in the same apartment complex. I don't think it's too far-fetched. He told me stories about fixing cars, so that tells me that he's somewhat familiar with them.
Familiar with vehicles, and so you're familiar with what the police has released about Mustafa's vehicle, correct?
I am familiar with the fact that that officer lied in his police report.
Okay.
And that he's still employed.